Hello and welcome. Let's take a look at the top story we are tracking for you. The war between Israel and the Hamas militants in West Asia has reached Gaza's biggest hospital, where thousands are trapped. And officials say a lack of fuel has caused the deaths of premature babies and critical patients. Hamas's health ministry has claimed that all hospitals in North Gaza are out of service. Medical services can barely be administered in North Gaza, as the largest hospital in Gaza, the Al-Shifa hospital, has ceased to function, and facilities among patients are rising as the blistering Israeli assault continues in the Gaza Strip. The WHO managed to speak to health professionals at the hospital. They described a dire and perilous situation, and it was not functioning as a hospital anymore, with constant gunfire and bombing exacerbating the already critical circumstances. A total of 5 premature babies and 7 critical patients have died in Al-Shifa hospital, according to the Deputy Health Minister in the Hamas-run Gaza Strip. They fear the death toll among patients will rise in the coming hours. Gaza's Hamas-run health ministry further added at least 2,300 people are still inside the Al-Shifa hospital. In an update shared by the WHO, a doctor in the region said that the Al-Shifa hospital can no longer accept patients. Ambulances have stopped evacuating the wounded Palestinians and bringing them to Al-Shifa. According to the medical staff, 40 patients in the ICU face death if no fuel, water and oxygen are provided for them.
The situation now is very bad. We don't have connection. There is no internet. Sometimes we have some reason on the call phone. We're on the 4th floor. And also there's a sniper who attacked 4 patients from the inside the hospital. One of them has the gunshot directly in his neck, and he has a quadriplegia, and the other one, he has a gunshot in the abdomen. Some of the people which actually go outside the hospital, they want to go to the south, they bomb them also. They bomb the family from the Al-Shifa hospital today in the morning. There is no electricity actually, there is no water, there is no food, so our team is exhausted.
In a video we were unable to independently verify, the Israeli army shared footage of troops leaving jerry cans of fuel outside the Al-Shifa hospital. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said the hospital had been offered fuel but had refused it.
We offered actually last night to give them enough fuel to operate the hospital, operate the incubators and so on, because we have obviously no battle with patients or with civilians at all. And I think every civilian death, every dead baby is a tragedy. But that tragedy should be placed squarely at the responsibility of Hamas, that is keeping its military installations inside hospitals, its command posts inside hospitals, inside schools, inside UNRWA, UN facilities, and so on.
The Israeli military said it had placed 300 liters of fuel at the hospital's entrance, but Hamas authorities were preventing the hospital staff from collecting the badly needed supply. Although Al-Shifa director has told journalists the Israeli claims were lies. On the contrary, according to the Palestine Red Crescent Society, they received 76 trucks loaded with aid from the Rafah crossing. The aid organization said the Israeli occupying authorities have not permitted the entry of fuel so far. And it's not just Al-Shifa hospital that has ceased to function. According to the Palestine Red Crescent Society, the Al-Quds hospital, the second largest in Gaza, has also ceased operations due to a fuel shortage as Israeli forces continue to bomb the besieged enclave.
Sorrow, pain, anger, discontent and disappointment. These are our feelings today after we had to announce Al-Quds Hospital in Gaza City is out of service, after a whole week of calling on the international community and the humanitarian organizations for the necessity to let aid come in urgently to Al-Quds Hospital. The hospital was left to face its destiny on its own under non-stop bombardment, which put the lives of our medical staff and patients in danger. Today we say that the international community and all countries signing the Geneva Convention are fully responsible for the collapse of the healthcare system in Gaza Strip.
According to the UN's humanitarian agency, 20 of Gaza's 36 hospitals are no longer functioning since Israel announced the complete siege of the Strip. Palestinians continued to flee northern Gaza as they evacuated from a number of hospitals that were bombed. They say they are struggling to find a safe place to be.
اللي عاش الحرب عاشها في مستشفى الشفا. مستشفى الشفا كانت كلها مشاهد مؤلمة. كان في أمهات تفقد أولادها. شفت منظر الثلاجات، الشهداء فيهم، روائحهم طالعة، الذباب منتشر عليهم. كانت الأم مثلا أنا شفت أم كانت جاي تشوف ابنها إذا مستشهد ولا لا، فلقت قدامها زوجها اللي مستشهد. كان وضع للأمانة كارثي. الله يعين الناس، ربنا المستعان.
As Israel's military pushed deeper into dense urban neighborhoods, Palestinians joined a growing exodus of people heading towards the south to escape the fighting. Gaza officials say the Palestinian death toll from the war has surpassed 11,000 people. A spokesperson for the Israel Defense Force said that on Sunday its troops were continuing to deepen raids into the heart of Gaza City.
עד כה עצרנו 20 מחבלים נחקרים שהבאנו אותם לחקירה בישראל. זה 20 שבויים שמתוכם גם כאלה שהשתתפו בטבח ב7 באוקטובר.
Meanwhile, negotiations to free the hostages taken by Hamas militants and other terror groups to Gaza are intense and ongoing as Qatar continues to mediate deal-making between Israel and Hamas. This is according to multiple U.S. officials. According to the White House, U.S. President Joe Biden spoke on Sunday with Qatar's Emir Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani about developments in Gaza and urgent ongoing efforts to secure the release of hostages being held by the Hamas militant group.
Mr. Prime Minister, is there a potential deal?
There could be, but I think the less I say about it, the more I'll increase the chances that it materializes.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has also hinted that there could be potential deal to free the hostages, but pushes back against growing international calls for a ceasefire. He says Israel's battle to crush Gaza's Hamas militants will continue. Now, for more on this, our correspondent Jody Cohen sends us this report from Ra'anana.
You can see behind me an art installation to raise awareness of the plight of the roughly 240 people, including the elderly, differently abled women, children and even babies who've been held in Gaza for more than a month now since Hamas's 7th of October massacre in Israel. Now, in the latest, we've been hearing from Prime Minister Netanyahu that a hostage deal could be possible. He also believes that military pressure will be important to getting Hamas to agree to any hostage deal. And we're hearing that Brett McCurk, who's the White House coordinator for the Middle East, is expected in Israel on Tuesday for further discussions. Now, there is concern that this war could spread beyond the Gaza-Israel border. 15 rockets have been fired from Lebanon into Israel on Sunday evening, and the IDF says it's striking Hezbollah targets in response. There's also been a drone attack from Syria on a school in southern Israel, and we've seen rockets fired at Israel from the Houthis in Yemen. Now, Israeli civilians have been evacuated from the north as well as the south of the country. US Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin had a call with his Israeli counterpart Yoav Gallant, in which he emphasized the need to contain the conflict to Gaza and avoid regional escalation. The US has reportedly sent a message to Iran and Hezbollah that the US would be prepared to intervene militarily if they expand the conflict further. And we've also heard from Hezbollah's chief that But Iran has been supporting Hezbollah, Hamas and other groups financially, materially, diplomatically and militarily in this war. So there's certainly a concern that the war could spread. This is Jodie Cohen for WION World as One.
WION, now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.